I wanted to do something so bad to try to send some love and light and hope out into the community. And so I've been down to my local Pride office and things like that, and about all they could offer me was like, oh well, you can organize pizza dinners or bar nights and stuff like that, and those are all good community events, but it's like, I want to reach more people than that and try to do something a little bit more. So that's what this is. That's why we're here.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I told you a little bit about me in the email. I am not even sure how I identify. Heteroflexible for sure. Um,
Heteroflexible, I like that.
Heteroflexible. I have dated a woman. I have not been intimate with a woman. Um, but I find women attractive. I find all kinds of people attractive. But it's an aesthetic thing for me, which is why my sexual identity is more the label that I actually found is demisexual,
Okay.
and that is not an inability to get turned on unless blah 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 blah,
Hmm.
but it is I have to have a certain connection with my partner, and it has to be intellectual, it has to be emotional, it has to be physical, it has to be all these different things. And when I read the definition, I was like, oh, that explains a lot. Because for the longest time, I thought that I was asexual.
Okay.
Sex isn't a priority for me. I like looking pretty. I like looking sexy. But the actual act of being intimate with someone, not a priority.
Yeah.
I'd rather hug and kiss and cuddle.
Okay. There's something to be said for a good cuddle.
Oh, you're telling me, dude.
Yeah.
I hope you don't mind me calling you dude.
No, it's all good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I know because I saw that you prefer them they.
Oh, you saw
And
my profile. I
yes, and I
am.
would like to respect that in my mannerisms that I do use.
Well, I will tell you right off the bat that you can call me whatever you want. I
Okay.
have a friend that calls me she her, which just tickles me pink, and I absolutely love it. But
That's
I
cool.
am so masculine presenting that it really doesn't bother me. Nothing really bothers me except for Nazis. I mean, I really can't
Oh my
abide
God,
Nazis. I
the
hate
shirt that I
Nazis.
literally was wearing before this, my pajama shirt, is a big like Nazi with a big red no through it. It's my
Yeah,
Nazi punks fuck off shirt.
yeah.
All punks welcome.
Yeah, they're the one people I really can't tolerate at
Yeah,
all.
yeah, no,
Um,
I get it.
so, well, I was showing pictures of you to my daughter the other night of your makeup do's.
Yeah, your makeup
Um,
daughter, your 11-year-old
because
daughter.
yes, and her name's Emma. She's a wonderful kid. She's awesome. But I was showing pictures of you to her, and she was asking me about you, and I said, yeah, she's going to be coming on to talk to me on the show, and she was asking about you, and I had told her that you have stage 4 cancer, and so that started a conversation about what that was, and it's is ridiculous. But I'm sitting on the couch crying because I know that I'm going to be talking to you, and I can't imagine having stage 4 cancer, and it feels so um, overwhelming or inescapable to me. And I don't know. I don't even know you. I mean, we're internet friends, but I don't
Well,
know.
it's the beginning of a
Any,
friendship,
it's so
and
I
that
have
that
been.
that touches me greatly that you feel that way and that you reacted that way. Um, when so initially before I was diagnosed, I bled. I bled a lot. I bled all the time, and my doctor at the time, who's no longer my doctor, birth control, birth control, birth control. We'll control it with birth control. Control the
Oh,
bleeding.
it was like menstrual bleeding then.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. She did a PEP. There was nothing. There was nothing unusual. I was bleeding, and then I started to bloat, and I was like, oh, well, I'm in a new relationship and I'm happy. Maybe I'm just kind of pudging up because I'm happy and I'm eating well and, I'm in love and all of these things. And you're vaping. Oh my goodness, I wish I had my vape out here.
Well, go grab it.
I will in a minute. Yeah, I will in a sec. Oh, nice. Um, and then when we finally, she finally sent me for blood work, and a normal red blood cell count is between 100 and 150, and mine came back at 52. So we went in for a blood transfusion, and then it was, why am I bleeding as much as I am? So tests and so forth. And they looked and checked and did all kinds of things. Nothing seemed unusual except for the fact that my stomach was so bloated. Finally, they did an ultrasound, and they saw that my ovaries were quite literally the size of footballs.
Oh my God.
My left ovary measured at 12 inches, and my right was at 10. So surgery. They're like, we're going to give you a hysterectomy. We're going to take out everything. We don't want any kind of anything weird left over. Could be, any number of things that are going on in there. So when they opened me up, they found
you?
36.
36.
Okay. I was 36 when I was diagnosed. And when they took everything out, they took both my ovaries, my fallopian tubes, my uterus, my appendix, a piece of my liver, and a layer of protective fat off my lower intestine. Because it all looked hinky. It all looked bad. So when they did and I smoked cigarettes, past tense. And my husband and I had decided that if the news came back that it wasn't good, if it could have been cancer, then we'd quit smoking. And what they found out while they were in there is that I had actually had an ectopic pregnancy that had calcified outside of one of my ovaries. There was all kinds of bad shit in there. So they took everything out, and that was in April of 2016. By June, the beginning of June, they called me and they said, it is stage 4 endometrial cancer, so uterine cancer. But because it's on more than 3 organs, we have to diagnose it at stage 4. And that was how they did it, rather than stage 4, you're dying. So keep that in mind when I say that I have stage 4 cancer. It's because it was on more than 4 organs. So I took chemotherapy for the summer and fall of 2016, lost all my hair. Which was wonderful not to have to shave all summer. Legs, underarms, bikini. It was wonderful.
Oh, it's not just your head then, it's everywhere?
It's everywhere. It's actually, my bikini is where it came out first. Because I had gone to my girlfriend's place to get a bikini wax. Because it was that time of year. And so she's getting me ready and everything. She's like, oh, babe, you don't need a bikini wax. It's coming out by itself. So I was like, oh, shit. Took my hair down and went like this. And just it came out in a big handful. So we shaved my head. Because I wanted my hair to come out on my terms. And we did it again this time around because my hair was falling out again. And yeah, 2017, I was clean as a whistle. 2018, fast forward. So now I've had chemo once. This is the second time around. My stomach started to bloat again. And they found 4.2 liters of fluid. So you've heard about Canadian bags of milk. So big bag of milk, 4.2 liters. And that was cancerous. So took chemo again. Kicked ass, took names, the whole deal. This time around, we kept an eye on it. So every time I'd go to the oncologist, and it would be every 2 months that I would go and see her. We'd do blood work, we'd do, ultrasound, the whole, make sure everything's still good under the hood. And this time she let me know that there had been enough advancement that chemotherapy was on the table again. I was like, all right, we're fighting it. Bring it on. And so last time when I had chemo, I had actually had an allergic reaction to it. They were giving it to me. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say an allergic reaction to the poison that
Yeah,
they're putting in you. Wonderful.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
great.
Yeah, I had anaphylaxis. So that was super exciting. And then I started having seizures. So the seizures are now permanent, and I can't be on any drug in that particular family. So the drug they put me on this time around causes hair loss, nausea, weight loss, loss of appetite. So I smoke a lot of pot. And I'm actually going to
Which
go
we
grab my.
advocate for.
Absolutely. I'm going to go grab my vape if that's okay. Now that I'm finished the majority of the cancer conversation, I'll be right back, okay?
We're going to take a vape break real quick.
All right, sounds good. Much better. Whoa!
Oh,
And I unpaused the music by accident.
I said, what was that?
That was a band called Fear Factory.
Yes.
So, with being basically housebound, this is where I come into play as an ally for the queer community. Is that I'm able to have conversations like this over Skype, over Facebook Messenger, with, especially in the transgender community, transgender women that are amazing and deserve a huge ego boost, need to be told and reminded, not even be told, be reminded how beautiful they are, how strong they are, how amazing they are. So I've
Well,
made, oh, go ahead.
you know what I've noticed too is online is, of course, there are a million and one nasty trolls out there that are constantly messing with transgender people, and they make me sick, but I expect them at this point. But what I also see is some of the incredible transgender people on my feed that have such low self-esteem,
Yeah,
that are so down on themselves, and part of it is the trolls, but part of it is just trying to come to grips with who they are and be proud of who they are, and I think that's a
exactly.
very, very difficult thing, and you're absolutely right. We need to lift up this community. We really do. Um,
Absolutely. There are
well,
some of the most amazing men and women that I've ever met are in the transgender community.
and I want to, not to bring you back to a dark place, but
Oh, that's
because
okay.
you seem like such a really happy, positive person. Both here and even your presence on Twitter, which is where I found you. Um, what was it like when you were right in the midst of the cancer and all the chemotherapy, and what was it like going through it at first? Because I know you're still doing chemotherapy now, right?
Yes. Yep. My last chemo was on Christmas Eve.
Ah,
That was very exciting.
happy Christmas to Sarah.
Yay. Um, I have my why me days. For the most part, I fight because I want to. I fight because I have to. I have so much good in my life that even 2016 being diagnosed, feeling that, oh my God, this is real. This is actually happening. I have to go to the hospital every 3 weeks and get, 12 hours of infusion because my body couldn't tolerate the short infusions.
Wow.
So they had something called a desensitization protocol where I took chemo for 10 to 12 hours. Um, I did everything that I could I brought things with me that made me happy. Little things that would occupy me. My tablet so I could watch movies, so I could watch Netflix. My phone so I could chat with my friends. Um, Books. I bring a face of makeup and paint my face while I was in the chemo chair.
And you look fabulous, by the way.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now, when did you start sharing about this online about what you're going through?
When it started.
When it first started?
When it first started. Because I know that for the kind of cancer that I have, I'm very young. And for the severity of it, I'm very young. Usually, my oncologist said that usually they see cancer like this in women in their 60s and above. And so being diagnosed at the age of 36 was, I'm in medical journals apparently. So, Heidi ho for that.
Yeah, you're making history.
I am making history.
Now,
Hey,
just
if I can make someone else, if I can get someone else, give someone else a lease on life, absolutely.
now, when you were diagnosed, it wasn't November of 2016, was it?
No, it was April of 2016.
Okay. Okay. It's unrelated then. November was a pretty bad month in 2016, so I just thought they could be related.
Yeah, no, my birthday's in November though.
Okay. So it wasn't Trump that did that to you then.
No, it was not Trump who did that to me, thank goodness.
Okay, good.
Because
Good.
I would be on the hunt, I'm telling you. Like I have it blocked. I have the word blocked. Just I can't even look at him.
Uh, so sorry, I'm not trying to make light of it, but
No,
I guess
that's
I
okay.
kind of have to because it's such a serious thing. And
Yeah.
as I was telling you, I was trying to explain to my daughter who you are and what you had been through, and it brought me to tears even talking about it because I can't imagine I can't even imagine going through what you have in your life, and let alone being as strong and as vibrant as you are now. Um, and by the way, vibrant came to mind right away because of all your amazing hair and makeup that you post. It
Oh,
makes
thank
everything seem
you.
vibrant. So,
That's a really cool compliment. Thank you so much.
so what makes you such an ally to the queer community? I mean, we all have things that we're passionate about, and
Yeah.
we all have causes that we're passionate about. What made you to want to just stand up and say, no, I'm gonna fight for all these people?
Um, Being very, very badly bullied when I was younger. And that's the honest truth. Um, I had queer friends growing up, and I stood by them because they stood by me. Because we were the minority. I was in something called the gifted program when I was in school. I have, and I'm not bragging when I say this. I'm embarrassed by it, by my last tested IQ. Um, because, no, no, no,
What is
we're not
it?
getting a number. We're not getting a
Come
number.
on, come on,
No,
Sarah, come
I'm serious.
on,
No,
come
it's
on.
over
Okay.
140. I'll put it that way.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Genius is like what, 150 or something? Or is it 140?
Yeah.
Oh my God, Sarah, you're a genius.
Mm,
Wow. Guys,
yeah, it's something.
listeners, viewers, anyone out there, we have a true genius on our show today.
Thank you. Um, but I'll put it this way: I'm very much right-brained. I can speak a million languages. I am creative. I'm not a linear thinker by any stretch of the imagination, and that um, being at the level of intellect that I was in school, I got made fun of a lot. I was in a segregated class, and even among them, I was made fun of. So when I see an underdog, when I see the underdog, I'm going to stand up for them because they deserve it. And with being on Twitter and being, like I said before, not, I hate to use the word housebound. I'm home a lot because of my limitations. Um, but I have the time and I have the effort and I have the energy to be able to be part of the queer community and be like, no, you know what? Trans rights are human rights. Gay rights are human rights. Lesbian rights are human rights. I am Q with the T. It's something that is necessary because it's such a small part of the population and so misunderstood. So, as being part of the visible majority of the population, I'm able to stand up for them properly and give them the love that they deserve.
What do you think that online activism like this, like podcasts or Twitter accounts or Facebook or whatever people are doing, what do you think that can do as far as advocacy for the queer community? I mean, are people listening? Are we making any kind of difference?
I think so, because we have that audience. I'm just one person. I can tell one person in person or 3 people in person about how amazing some of the sisters that I've made in the trans community are. Whereas for some reason I have like 10,000 followers on my Twitter, which blows my tiny little mind.
Wait, 10,000. Aren't you like 25,000 now? Let me go see here. Oh yeah, you're 10,000. I was gonna say, I know it was something huge.
It's ridiculous. It's not like I do anything exciting.
You're a superstar. And well, I think, you know what I think it is? I think people are drawn to that high intellect. I'm just messing with you now.
You're teasing me.
You know what do you know what drew me to you? Well, you were retweeted by other people I follow, that type of thing, which is most of the time mostly how you find people, but it's kind of the raw honesty that you put into every tweet. Whether it's a picture of you with no wig on talking about what you're going through, or a picture of you completely glamorous, or how you're talking about how we need to stand up for certain people. I mean, it was that kind of unafraid and unapologetic you that really drew me to you. You okay?
Yeah, sorry, my phone rang and it's an unidentified number. I'm like, who's calling me?
Do you need to answer that? Should we put it on speaker and see?
It might be a doctor. Hang on just a second.
Do it.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It's all good.
Climb back in. Yes. 2019, about it can fuck right off. My husband went into the hospital on May 18th. We all had the flu in the house. He vomited so hard that he tore an artery on the outside lining of his stomach and started bleeding internally. Kidneys failed, heart failed, medical coma. She's at a trach, and that's what this is about. That's what that appointment's for. So he's okay now. He's not 100%, but he's okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah,
that's pretty intense.
Been a rough year.
I guess. Well, let's hope it just goes away in 2020 for sure.
I know. No, 2020 is the year of healing.
Okay, good. I like that idea.
That's going to happen.
I like it. And I like your giant coffee cup that you've got going on there. Oh, nice. Is that purple lipstick on there?
It certainly is. It's this stuff.
So, and I'm going to talk about this stuff because you have it right on your Twitter profile. So I'm assuming it's not super duper private to you, but we have BP1, which I'm thinking is bipolar 1.
You're right.
Generalized anxiety disorder, obsessive compulsive disorder.
Yes.
And monstrous, which is also very important.
Yeah.
So you've been dealing with physical health issues as well as mental health issues, and yet you are still happy and you look healthy. And even though I know that you're battling the cancer, but you look so happy and healthy. And I know that myself, I am also bipolar 1 and have struggled for many years.
Yes.
and I don't feel nearly as happy as you look. You know, I'm still struggling to get myself to that place where I'm like, no, I really am conquering this. You
Yeah.
know, do you have any advice on?
It took me 10 years.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. It took me a friggin' decade to be able to go from a full depressive breakdown to months of mania, spending thousands of dollars shoplifting. Like, I was not well. And this was over the course of, like I said, a decade where I was doing things irrationally. Um, to be absolutely honest, it took, and it's a chemical combination, is what it is. And I hate to say that because I mean, I don't do therapy. Well, I have done therapy, but I'm not currently in therapy. I've done cognitive behavioral therapy, and I've mastered the art of turning something around into a positive.
I can see that about you. See, I need to master that art because
I
right
will
now
help
it's
you.
I would love that because right now it's like a negative comes up and I'm just like, oh, my world is crushed and I am all alone.
Yeah,
Oh, and
I
it's
know
not
that
funny,
feeling.
but
If you
yeah,
don't laugh, you cry.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So, but
and
you've gotten through all of it. Was there any point in this journey that you've been through, you know, with mental health and physical health that you really thought that you weren't going to be able to get through it?
yeah, I've tried to kill myself 3 times.
Wow.
It isn't something that I am private about because it happens and you can get through it
Well,
if you.
what had
Sorry, go ahead.
happened? What had
Um,
happened at those times?
um, so the first time I didn't know how. I was embarrassingly young. I was 12. The second time my parents came home early. So that was purely circumstantial.
Okay.
If they hadn't, I would not be chatting with you right now. And then the third time was within the last 10 years. I was 33 and I called my best friend and said, you know, this is what I have going on. And she called my mom and they came and they stayed with me. They took me to the doctor in the morning. Um, but I was living on my own. I was very, very lonely. I was in a huge depressive phase. I was working a job where the options were rent, food, or meds. You could have one. One. And I needed a roof over my head. So that was my option. So I wasn't medicating properly. And I lived on the seventh floor of an apartment building. And I thought to myself, I could just lean over the balcony and have it done. And then some rational part of my brain piped up and said, no, people love you. You may not love yourself. You may not be able to feel like you can go on, but your mom and dad will miss you. Catherine will miss you. Jessica will miss you. You know, you're not being fair to yourself. So I picked up the phone and I made the phone call to say, please come and help me. After that, I went into cognitive behavioral therapy. My meds were adjusted. Some allowances were made through my job to be able to put me on medical insurance so I wouldn't have to pay for my pills. Um, and I moved, and circumstance after circumstance started to change. And this was from the age of about 33 to 36, 32 to 36. My why me days, which are the days that I stay in bed and cry and sleep and don't want to talk to anybody, now are few and far between. I don't have the energy to be upset. I'm just I'm lazy. It's easier to be happy. I'd rather have smile lines than frown lines. Yeah, it's easier this way.
So that was. Oh, do you hear that? My phone ringing through my computer. That's obnoxious.
I do not hear that.
Oh, that was good. Good. I'm glad you couldn't hear that.
Yeah, don't worry. My phone rang too. And I ignored it, and I don't think they left a voicemail, so.
Well, good. Good riddance then.
Exactly.
So you have hit your really low points in
Yes.
your life then, and it seems like you were aware enough, even that last time, to make that phone call. Do you think it was that decision that kind of changed things moving forward? That decision to ask for help?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely. Because within 2 months of that occurring, I've discovered that I don't live well by myself. That if I live with someone, I take care of myself better because I like taking care of them as well. Doing nice things for them. Whether it's unloading the dishwasher and cleaning up the kitchen before they get home, or changing the laundry around, or getting dinner set up. Not a good cook. Just as a heads up. Not a good cook.
Well, you sound
I will
like an
chop up.
amazing
I will
roommate,
sous
though.
chef. Yeah, I'll sous chef, but don't ask me to cook.
So, where are you now? I mean, are you after all of this? Are you truly happy?
Yes, I am. I am. By nature, I'm laid back, and I'm easygoing. So when it comes to being happy, I look at the house that I live in with my sister and my husband and her boys. I look at the blessings that I have, the cool things that I have, the blessings that I have, and then the cool things that I have. Like, I have a ring light that I can position around. I have a cool camera. I have lots of very, very expensive makeup from working 5 years at Sephora. I have so many cool things that other people, so many blessings, so many cool things that other people don't get to experience or get to have. So in being able to share that, that's a big deal for me. It makes me feel better.
And it seems like you really want to make other people happy.
I do. I like it. It makes me happy. And that may sound very trite, or I don't know what the word would be, but if I can put a smile on someone's face, what if that's the only nice thing that happens to them in that day? That someone said, "Hey, you know what? I really like your hoodie." Or, the poster behind your head is really cool. Did you pick that out yourself? Yeah, you did, of course.
I did.
Of course. You're the one who put it up there. What if that's the only compliment you get today? Then you can look back at that day and be like, you know what? I had a you know what, sweetie, this afternoon, I had a random stranger say something really nice to me.
So kindness.
Yeah.
Is that the key then?
It is. It really is. Not enough people in the world have it anymore. And I go back to joking about being lazy, because it's easy to be nice. It's easy to be like, "Hey, how are you?" And genuinely care about what that other person has to say.
Well, I'll tell you that just speaking with you, and this wasn't at all how I thought this conversation would go today. I envisioned you telling me your story of your incredible but also kind of heavy life story, and me sitting over here crying because it's so sad and depressing. But that's not it at all. I
No.
feel happy talking to
Good.
you. Whatever it is that you've done inside yourself and changed within yourself to become this person that you are now, it's working. And that's an amazing thing.
Thank you.
It
Thank
really
you.
is an amazing thing. And I hope that we get a lot more people that want to share the love like you do.
Yeah. Yeah. I hope so too.
Yes.
Um, it's not difficult. Like, it's easy to be like, you know what, Jason, I've had a great time talking to you today. I hope we get to do this again, you know? And having that openness of conversation that we can talk about anything, that um, nothing is taboo, nothing is off the table. Just honesty. See, that's another thing when I had mentioned about, the spending the money and the shoplifting and all these awful, irresponsible, manic things that happen in a bipolar brain. I lied a lot. I hid a lot. I hid a lot from the people that, like my ex-husband, for example. Um, I wasn't very truthful with him, and now we're not together, and I've learned from that. So honesty is a big thing for me, because I was dishonest for so long, and I've worked so hard to be trusting and trustful.
You cannot understate the importance of honesty. You really can't.
No.
And that's uh, between my wife and I. That's our big thing
Yeah.
is honesty. When this this last couple of years, and I started to realize that I was different from other men around me,
Yes.
and that I just didn't fit right. And I talked to her about it, and of course she's a little confused and freaked out, but she just wants me to share so that she can know what she can do to support me and help me
Right.
to be okay. And even talking about it makes my eyes tear up because she's so amazing, and that's not how it goes for a lot of people. And
No,
all I want for people is to have that kind of love and
yes.
acceptance in their life. So
When when I met my husband, the first thing that I said to him, we actually okay, rewind. Let's start this tiny story over. Um, we met on Tinder.
ooh.
I swiped right and correctly. And when we met in person, he came to we met in public, we met at a pizza place, and he pulls up in his vehicle, undoes his window, and he goes, "Sarah," I said, "I'm not getting in your car unless you offer me candy." And that was it. We've been together ever since. But he's very atypical when it comes to being masculine, quote unquote masculine. He's very in touch with his emotions. He's very thoughtful. He is. He tells me everything. Anything that's going on in his head, I'll say, "Babe, what's wrong?" And he lets me know. That we've never had a fight. We've never been angry at each other because we talk it out. We love each other to the point that we would rather be happy and honest and open than potentially hurting our relationship in the future by not saying something. So when I hear about you and your wife, that makes me incredibly happy to know that someone else has love like that as well.
It's a powerful thing.
It
It
really
really
is.
is. And like I said, not everyone has that, but
No,
it really it can be the difference between life and death, I think, for a lot of people. So
absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
we have to keep sharing the love, and we have to keep telling people that it's okay to be loved and to ask for love if you need it,
Yeah.
or to
Yes.
say, hey, I'm struggling. Help me,
Yes.
please.
So much yes.
Yes. Well, Sarah, it really has been amazing having you on today. Thank you so much for
It
doing
has
this.
been my pleasure, Jason. I hope we get to do this again.
I hope so too.
Um, and thank you so much for inviting me on. It has been a great honor.
Thank you so much. You are wonderful. You just see, I'm smiling again. You make me happy.
Good. And hey, if you ever need a laugh, send me a message. I've got tons of bad jokes.
I'm down for that. We'll
Cool,
see you
cool.
later, everyone. Thanks
All
for
right,
listening
honey.
today.
Have a great time, okay?
Bye, guys.
Bye.